Okay, good morning students. Today in MBA 4th semester in strategic management, we are going to deal the topic that is known as strategic business unit, that is known as SBU, or it is also known as business unit level strategies. Okay, earlier on the last classes we have studied, on the last class, on the last lecture, on the last video, we have learned about corporate level strategic analysis. On that we have learned that how does the strategies which should be made at the corporate level would be analyzed, and on the basis what are those factors, basis, what are those methodologies on the basis of which we are going to analyze the corporate level strategies. Okay, so today we are going to deal the next strategy, the next level, that is business unit level strategies analysis. Okay, in this business, first of all we should have to consider that what does business unit level strategy. Okay, if we talk about the business unit level strategies, as we have studied earlier, that if we take the example of a company like Bajaj India Limited. Okay, if we talk about the Bajaj India Limited, then on that we have heard that Bajaj India Limited in a broader term is a corporate level strategy, where the corporate level strategies would be amended. Okay, and if we talk about this business unit level strategies, then in this business unit level strategies, what is being done in this, it is being done that we have to make the strategies for all those business units which should comes under that corporate level. For example, under the Bajaj India Limited, there is Bajaj Finance, there is Bajaj Allianz, there is Bajaj Automobiles, there is Bajaj Electricals, there is Bajaj Electronics. So these are what? These are the different kinds of business units. So we have to deal these kinds of business units, we have to deal the strategies related to these different business unit levels. That is known as what? Business unit level strategy. Okay, now in this we have to consider, we have to know about that how we are going to deal with the business level strategy analysis. Okay, in this we have to consider 4 points in mind. The very first point which should be considered, for example, if we have to learn, we have to if we do have an overview, then what is that? A strategy is an integrated, comprehensive and unified plan course of action. Okay, business unit level is a coordinated, integrated and a comprehensive action or plan. Okay, once again I am repeating this. If we talk about the strategy, then a strategy is an integrated, comprehensive and unified plan or course of action. Okay, and if we talk about the business unit level strategy, then it is a coordinated, integrated and a comprehensive action or plan. Okay, the purpose of business unit level strategy is to provide a value to customers by gaining a competitive advantage through exploiting the core competencies in a specific individual product or service markets. Okay, so here if we talk about that, business unit level strategies are designed based on the firm's belief about where and how it has an advantage over its competitors. Okay, now it do have business strategic unit level do have 4 kinds of, if we talk about that SBU, strategic business unit level or business unit level strategies, then we have to consider 4 important points in this. The very first point is related to the customer, that customers are the basis for creating a business unit level strategy, because the customers needs and expectations determine the product or service configuration. Okay, the other one is what? Process competencies to service customers. Here the firm's possess competencies to serve customers. Firms possessing these competencies deliver a superior value to the customers in order to achieve its goals. Okay, firms adopt corporate level strategies in order to acquire competencies necessary to implement business unit level strategies. Okay, so this is a very important point, that is possess competencies to serve customers. Okay, the third important point which should be considered and which should be kept in mind or focused, that is to decide customer needs. Okay, firms select a group of customers based on their missions through market segmentation. Okay, markets are segmented based on variety of factors for customer market segmentation includes demographic, socio-economic and psychographic, geographic and consumption and perceptual factors. These are what different kinds of factors on the basis of which we segment the market. Okay, factors for industrial market includes end use segments, product segments, geographic segments, common buying factor segments and customer size segments. Firms normally concentrate on major customer groups while creating business unit level strategies. Okay, so and the third important point is what? Use competencies to satisfy customer needs. Now firms use the competencies they acquired to satisfy the selected needs to the customers. Okay, firms craft strategies to match their competencies with the targeted customer needs. Okay, so these are the four important points which should be kept in mind while dealing with the business unit level strategies. Now if we talk about the analysis, then here we have to learn that how the business level strategies would be analyzed. That is a very important point, because if we are not capable to analyze, if we are not having the potential or capability to analyze the strategies, then how could we move ahead? Because analysis is the very first basic priority of any manager or any management team, from where they have to find out various aspects, factors, and those factors, aspects, opportunities, vision, mission, objectives would be analyzed. So here we have to learn that how we are going to analyze the business level unit strategies. So for analyzing the business unit level strategies, there are four generic strategies. Okay, so four generic strategies which we have to consider, and according to those four generic strategies the analysis would be done. Okay, the first one is what? Cost leadership. Okay, the second one is what? Differentiation. The third one is what? Focused cost leadership, and the fourth one is what? Focused differentiation. So starting with the very first one, if we talk about the cost leadership, then what is that? If we talk about the cost leadership, then the cost leadership strategy or the cost leadership analysis is based on certain factors. Those factors are on procurement, then that at what level we are going to procure the goods. Okay, here where in the procurement point of view we have to look upon the captive reliable suppliers as well as low cost substitute inputs. We have to consider what? These two factors. The other important thing which should be considered in the cost leadership strategy analysis, that is technological analysis. That technology that simplifies operations and theories, which reduces costs, exactly, and simplifies product design and number of components that reduce costs. Both technology, here we are going to consider the technology because the technology is going to, the latest technology reduces the costs as well as it helps in enhancing the products as well as the services. Okay, the third important point which should be considered is about the human resource. Exactly, this is a very important point, and human resource is that point on the basis of which we are going to gain most of the profits. Okay, where the recruitment, training, empower as well as which helps in enhancing the productivity and reduce cost per unit. All these factors will help in reducing the costs. Okay, after that we are going to look upon the general administration part. In the general administration part we are going to consider 5 important points. Okay, those in the general administration part, those 5 important points are what? Number 1, inbound logistics, where the strategy, where the systematic supply of inputs, transport and storage, efficient inventory management would be dealt. Okay, the next important is related to the important point is related to what? Operations. It is here in this operational part, large scale operations, efficient inventory, fast operations process, and introduce innovations to reduce cost. These points would be considered in the operations part. In the third important general administration part which we have to deal, that is known as what? Marketing and sales. Okay, where reduce marketing intermediaries, where we have to reduce the marketing intermediaries. The second one is what? Create alliances, to create different kinds of alliances. Innovative marketing, the third one is what? Under it, innovative marketing strategies to reduce cost. We have to deal all these things, we have to analyze on all these points. The fourth analytical point related to the general administration, that is outbound logistics. In this outbound logistics, what are those points which should be considered? Those are logistics and alliances. Okay, the other one is what? Computerized delivery system. The next analytical point is related to the storage facility close to markets, and the next one is what? Outsource for low cost. Okay, so these points would be considered under the outbound logistics part, okay, which is a part of a strategic business unit level. Okay, and the fourth important point related to the general administration is service. In this service part, outsource the things which is being analyzed is what? Outsource the critical services back ends operation to low cost providers. We have to look upon, we have to consider these points in the services part. So these are what? These are the cost leadership strategy, where we have to look upon the different strategies, where we have to look upon these analysis, we have to do the analysis on those different strategical parts, where we have to find out that different kinds of administrations related to various parts would be considered. Okay, now the second analytical phase, the second analytical part is related to the differentiation strategy. Okay, this is a very important part. Generally, customers' needs, tastes and preferences vary from one customer to the another customer. These differences in customers' tastes, preferences and needs can be satisfied by producing the product with different attributes. Exactly, different kinds of different customers do have different kinds of tastes, varieties of tastes, they do have needs, preferences. Okay, so and that should be matched, that should be satisfied only when we are going to provide different varieties of products and having different attributes, having different features. This situation results in adoption of a differentiation strategy by the producer to satisfy the diversified needs of customers by a standardized product. The producer, to make this strategy successful, should study the different needs, tastes and preferences of various classes of customers. Further, he should study the buying and consumption behavior of different classes of customers. The producer then should incorporate the features into the product offering based on the study. This will make the product much suitable to the different customers compared to the competitors' offerings. Consequently, most of the competitors will prefer this product to the rival competitors. Okay, so it is differentiation strategy. In this differentiation strategy, what is being done, that if there is a producer, if there is a manufacturer or the entrepreneur, then at that level what they have to think, they have to consider about different points, they have to consider on various factors or various products, because customers do have different types of taste. There are number of customers in the market, and each and every customers do have their taste preferences. So we have to analyze those different kinds of taste and preferences, and according accordingly we have to produce different varieties of products, okay, various differentiation of products, various having different attributes, having the products are having the different features. That is known as that is known as what? Differentiation strategy, which leads the functional which give birth to the business unit level strategies. Okay, so in this, how we are going to let us talk about the conditions for successful differentiation strategies. What are those conditions or analysis which we have to deal so that the successful differentiation strategies would be done? Okay, so those analysis, the number first is what? Technological development analysis. In this technological development analysis, what we have to consider, we have to analyze few points. Those are capabilities in inventions, that how many capability, what are our capabilities which leads to the invention part, so that we can invent new products and new services at regular intervals of time with respect to the customers' needs and demands, which satisfy the different needs and demands of various customers. Okay, and the investment in research and development that contributes to differentiation. Exactly, and we have to do the investments in the research and development part also. Okay, the other important part is what? Human resource. The human resource is also a very important part, and this human resource part, what we have to deal when we have to apply, we have to look upon the differentiation strategy. Then in this human resource analysis part, we have to look upon various points. Those are, number one, the training. We have to provide training at regular intervals to our employees so that they should be competent enough to tackle with the new products which we are going to launch in the market. The other one is what? Compensation and empowerment programs that enable innovation. Exactly, with respect to that, we have to deal with the compensation and empowerment program so that our human resource would be empowered, our human resource would be increased, on the basis of which we are going to deal these parts. Okay, and encouragement, risk taking, as well as qualitative performance management, where we have to imbibe quality to our employees, to our human resource, so that they can deal with the very qualitative management part. Okay, the third important part which is being related to that is general management part. In this general management part, the third one is what? Procurement. In the procurement part, what we have to look upon in the procurement analysis, we have to look upon the procure highest quality inputs and raw materials. Exactly, the highest quality raw materials and inputs we have to procure, we have to take from the suppliers, as well as procure highest quality replacement parts. Exactly, we have to take the highest quality replacement parts also. And the last analytical part is related to the general administration analysis. In this general administration analysis, in the first one is related with what? Inbound logistics. In this inbound logistics, emphasis on impact transportation of maintain quality of material by avoiding damages in transportation. Exactly, we have to analyze this point, that is emphasis on intact transportation to maintain quality of material by avoiding damage in the transportation. Exactly, and the other one is what? Storage and handling. These are the points which should be analyzed in the inbound logistics part. The other one is what? Operations part, operational analysis. In the operational analysis, we are going to look upon the product design based on what we can market. Exactly, that is customer preference. On the basis of the customer preference, we have to design the products, and we have to produce attractive, respond rapidly to the shifts in customer preference. We have to respond quickly and rapidly when the change in the customer's mind would be done, or the tastes would be done. Okay, and so these are the different kinds of points which should be considered when we are going to deal with the general administration part. In the general administration part, one point is also being considered, that is related to the services. Those are exclusive customers training for installation of various products full field stocking for replacement of parts. Exactly, these are after sales services which we have to consider most, so that we have to deal with these parts. Okay, now if we talk about the third analytical part, that is in strategic business unit level, that is focus and specialization strategy. That is what focusing begins by choosing a market niche where customers have distinctive preferences or requirements. Okay, Thompson and Strickland defines the term niche as geographic uniqueness by specialized requirements in using the product or by special product attributes that appeal only to niche markets. A strategist basis for competitive advantage is either lower costs than the competitors in serving the market niche or an ability to offer niche members something different from that of competitors. If the buyer's needs can be satisfied through a low cost based products compared to the rest of the market, the producer can adopt a focus strategy based on low costs. Alternatively, if there is a customer segment that demands unique product attributes, then the producer can adopt a focus strategy based on differentiation. Okay, now here we have to look upon the situations or analysis where the focus strategy is efficient. What are those analytical points which we have to consider in the focus strategies? Okay, those analyses are being done on the market segment is large enough to be profitable. We have to analyze that whether the market segment is large enough to be profitable. Okay, the next one is what the market segmentation has a good growth potential. Whether we have to look upon whether the market segment is having the good growth potential or not. Third one is what the market segment is not significant to the success of major competitors. We have to look upon the major competitor. The focus, the fourth one is what the focusing producer has the skills and resources to serve the segment efficiently. Okay, and the fifth one is what when a company does not have enough resources to pursue a wider part of the total market, then what are those points which we have to consider. And the last one is what when the industry has many different segments and allows a focuser to select an attractive segment based on his strength and capabilities, then what we have to do, we have to analyze those points. Okay, and the very last strategy which we are going to deal or analyze, that is that is the differentiation strategy. Okay, that strategy is what just a minute. Yeah, exactly, that strategy is what international, that is being related to the strategies for industrial leaders, 13th commandments, industry environment. Okay, those are what the strategy which we are going to look upon, the specialized strategy. Okay, where we have to look upon 5 important points. Those are industry environments, that what kind of industry environment we are having. This is a very important strategy, and this strategy we have to consider the specialization part, that what kind of specializations in the business unit level which we have to look upon, and those specialization part is related to number 1, the analysis. This is what the basic, the conclusion we are going to conclude in this point. We are going to conclude the entire the analysis part, the entire business unit level strategies analysis part with the help of the specializations, that how the specializations are being analyzed. Okay, related to the business part. In this there are basically 5 analytical strategy phases. Those are number 1, industry environments analysis. In this industry analysis, the points which we have to analyze, those are young or emerging industry, next rapid growth, next consolidating to a small group of competitors, next mature or slow growth, next aging or declining, next fragmented, next international or global, next commodity product orientation, next is high technology and rapid changes. So these are what? These are the analytical points which we have to analyze, or the managers should have to analyze in the business unit level strategy in the industry environment analysis point. Okay, the next important analysis point is company positions or situations. This is also a very important analysis point that we have to analyze on the basis of companies positions and situation, that where the position of the company and the situation of the company is lying, okay, currently, or that is how we are going to analyze that. On that, the points which we have to consider is what? Number one is dominant leader, that we have to look upon that whether we are the dominant leader or not. We have to analyze on that. On that, we have to consider on the four parts. Dominant leaders would be anywhere, okay, dominant leaders would be anywhere, and those four regions are global, national, regional and local. Other one is what? We are going to look upon the leadership qualities. The other one is what? Aggressive challengers. The other one is what? Content follower. The other one is what? Weak or distressed candidate for turnaround or exit. The other one is what? Stuck in the middle, no clear strategy or market image. So these are what, on the basis of which we are going to analyze the company position or situation. Okay, the third important analytical part is what? Situational consideration. In this situational consideration, the exact situation of the market, the exact situation of the company, both would be analyzed, and that should be analyzed on the basis of 2 points, 2 factors. Those are what? External and internal. In the external factors, in the external analyzing parts, we have to look upon the driving forces, we have to look upon the competitive pressures, we have to look upon the anticipated moves of key rivals, we have to look upon the key success factors, and we have to look upon industry attractiveness. Okay, so these are what? The external factor analysis. The other one is what? Internal factor analysis. In the internal factor analysis, we have to look upon the current company performance, we have to look upon the strengths and weaknesses, we have to look upon the opportunities and threats, we have to look upon the cost position, we have to look upon the competitive strength, and we have to look upon the strategic issues and problems. Okay, so these are what? The situational consideration analysis. The fourth important analysis is market share and investment options. Okay, we have to analyze, this is a very important analytical point where we have to analyze the market share and investment options, that where is our market share and where are our investment options. Okay, so the points which should be considered under these are growth and build a bigger market share by growing faster than industry as a whole. Exactly, we have to consider this, as well as in this we have to look upon invest heavily to capture growth potential, where we have to invest more. Okay, the other one is what? Partly and defend. Okay, how partly and how we are going to defend our market share or the investment options, how we are going to analyze that. For on that, we have to analyze with the on the basis of protect market share or grow at least as fast as the whole industry. And the next one is what? Invest enough resource to maintain competitive strategies and market positions. And the third one is what? And the third important point in the market share and investment option analysis, that is retrench and retreat. This is a very important point, that is retrench and retreat. In this, what we have to do? We have to look upon the analytical part, that is surrender weakly held positions when focused to, but fight hard to defend core markets or customer base. The other point which should be considered under the retrenchment is what? Maximize short-term cash flow, and the other one is what? Minimize reinvestment of capital in the business. Okay, and the fourth important point which should be considered in the market share and investment analysis is overhaul and reposition. And where we have to try to turn around. And the fifth one is what? Abandon or liquidate, where we have to sell out or close down. So these are the different kinds of analysis which we have to consider on market share and investment options. And the last strategy and the last analytical part, that is strategy options. This is a very important point. We have to analyze the strategies also. Okay, that is the strategy options. Those are competitive approach, whether we have to move for the competitive approach. In the competitive approach, we have to analyze few points. Those are what? Overall low cost leadership. The next one is what? Differentiation. And the third one is what? Focus specialization. Okay, the other one is what? Offensive initiative strategy. We have to analyze this offensive initiative strategies, where we have to consider about attacks, end run, guerrilla warfare, or preemptive strikes. Okay, so we have to consider these in offensive initiatives. The fourth one is what? Defensive initiatives. In the defensive initiative, we have to analyze the strategies. Those are fortify or protect. The other one is what? Retaliatory and harvest. Okay, and the fourth is what? International initiatives. In the international initiative parts also, we have to look upon the strategies. Those are licensing, export, multi-country, global, forward or backward. So students, these are the different kinds of analysis which we have to consider in business unit level strategy analysis. Okay students, thank you to all of you.